Hi, this is Krista at The Secret Yarnery. Welcome to Crochet Podcast, episode 97. Thank you so much for inviting me over. If you are new to this channel, my name is Krista and that is my Secret Yarnery. This channel is all about crochet and crochet related goodness. There is a beginner's class every Wednesday. Used to be Thursdays. We're going to put it on Wednesday. There is a live chat every Friday, a podcast just like this every Saturday, and a brand new tutorial and written pattern on Sundays. So if any of that is of interest to you, consider hitting that subscribe button down below and the notification bell beside that so you don't miss out on any awesome fun things just like this. It's going to be fun, don't worry. Noticing anything or remembering anything? I'm like, what a great season it would be for this gorgeous never-ending flower shawl, which I love. Isn't it the cutest thing? So I guess this is my finished object, although it's kind of like a flashback finished object, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to show you how cute it is with a little cute little sundress. Adorable. I'll show you what it looks like outside. I mean, that is cute as a button, right? So it just kind of dresses up a sundress, but not keeping you too hot. This is with, what is it called? Natural Garden by Ice Yarns. It is a 2-weight yarn, but I used a 5mm crochet hook, so it didn't feel so bad. And it is a real lacy design. So one little flower gets you a lot of distance. So I really liked making it. I've made 2. This is my second one. The first one I did in natural cotton, and that was a 3-weight yarn. So this is a bit thinner yarn, but I love it. The colors are great and everything. So this is a tutorial on the channel. I'll link it in the cards up above. So if you are interested in getting into the spring feeling with this, you are more than welcome to do so. Highly recommend. But it's a bit hot, I'm not gonna lie. I gotta take it off. And it's not even that hot, but maybe it is that hot. Yeah, it's that hot. It's 82 Fahrenheit. Oh gosh, look at that. Yeah, I can't even manage. I can't even manage a linen, a bamboo, cotton shawl at this moment. So that is 28. Yeah, that's hot. So, but I wanted to show it to you before I started glowing. Right? So this is what it looks like, just kind of hanging loosely. Another way you can wear it is to the side, which I like to do. So like this. Do you know what I mean? So one with a long arm and one with a short, so one shoulder out kind of, one sleeve and one no sleeve. You can wear it any which way, but it's kind of modern and really cute in an old-fashioned way. Does that even make sense? Does that even make sense? But you know what I mean? It's an old-fashioned idea, but made modern. So I like that very much, especially in the evening, you know, not in the afternoon like it is here. It is, what time is it right now? 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Nairobi. So it's the hottest of the day, really. So, but that's a really good thing if you're going out for dinner or, you know, maybe you're going boating or something. Wouldn't that be the life? You know, when you go boating, it's a great thing to take with you. Hilarious. That must be my alter ego. Now what I have been working on, so I did a tutorial for the Daisy Granny Square years and years ago. I've changed how I do my Daisy Granny Squares apparently, because I was like, what was I doing? Anyway, now I'm going to make it again. I'm going to make that blanket again, but in these colors. Let me turn that down a sec. There, in those colors. Isn't that great? It's gonna be so pretty. So 4 little ones together and then 1 big one. So all together, well, I'm not doing the math yet because it's like, there's a lot of squares. So I'm doing them sectionally. So I started by making all of the yellow centers and then I turned them into eggs. So I put the petals on, the white petals. Reminds me of like fried eggs. You're like, one more fried egg coming up. And 1 row to turn it into a square in the green. And then 1 row of the lavender. And then 1 row of the actual grape. So I'm doing them step by step. So I'm working, I still have a little bit more to do. No, that's it. Now I'm just putting on the last row of purple and then also making the bigger squares. I have to make 6 of the bigger squares. So this is my current whip, all full of gorgeous springtime colors. I love it. Oh, and then for joining, I was gonna join in the oatmeal, but I thought for spring, look how cute it is joining in the white. So fresh and gardeny, right? So I'm really excited about that. So the trick for how I can manage doing a big blanket is just doing it in those sections that I told you, like just starting with all of the centers you're gonna need, then all of the second row, then all of the third row, blah, 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 blah. And then when you're done, and I don't even count them, I can't even tell you how many granny squares there are that I need. I just know that I need 6 of the squares, which of course I do the math, but I refuse to do it. Like even I'll block it out of my head right now because the number's already popping up. I refuse to listen to it because I need 6 of these squares done. So 6 times 4, yeah, I need that. And then I need 6 of the big ones done with more rows. But then when they're done, then I count them and I'm like, oh, look how many I have. So then I'll tell you the right number because just mentally the number, it feels discouraging. Do you know what I mean? It feels like, oh, I have so many to do. And even when you finish one, you're kind of like, oh, I finished one. And now you're like, oh, I have so many left to do. So if you just do them in steps, you're like, oh, look, I have the purple done. I only have one more color to do, right? So instead of counting the squares, you count the colors. So for me, that works out. Plus, as it gets slower, like the bigger the rounds get, the slower it goes, the closer you are to having it done. So it's actually your last color is the worst. And you're like, but it's my last color. And then joining, that's like super fun. So joining is like something I look forward to, but I get it all done. Then I stop painfully and I put on like a really bad TV show or 2 and I sew in all of my ends. So that when I join it all up, I don't have to go back into the middle of my blanket and find an end. I get them all done when they're little tiny squares like this. And then after, you just have the bigger ones to do, which isn't so terrible. So that is my whip. I'm redoing this blanket. So excited. And then thinking about the border, if I'm gonna do the stacking tiles, I also wanna do like a tulip stitch border, but I think I feel like I have to do stacking tiles for the blanket just to make sure it's the right size and the colors all kind of balance out. But I also am making enough of the squares to make a pillow. So one side in the big square and one side in the 4 squares put together. And then I was thinking of edging that in like a tulip stitch border because that would be springy also. So thinking of doing that, I'm making the squares for it, but I'm getting all the squares done first. So that's all I'm working on. It's my only whip right now. So Hobbit cloak still down here from last week. I'm gonna put it back on the shelf over there. So that will be back out when I'm not working on this little beauty right here. So the tutorial for the Daisy Granny Square is coming out tomorrow. I know I already have a tutorial for a Daisy Granny Square, but I was like, what are you even doing? So I do it differently now. I have evolved. So the new Granny Square, oh, I'm holding it backwards. Am I? No, I'm not. Okay. The new Granny Square pattern I will be showing you tomorrow, and written pattern on the channel as well. Didn't get it done today. I had to take the dog to the vet. Another story, another channel. Conveniently, I have another channel for such news like that, which I'm not making a video of yet anyway. Anyway, I spent the morning at the vet. That's the long and short of it. So the pattern's not done, but I will have it done tomorrow. So question of the week from last week was what question would you ask a YouTuber? What would you like to know? Or what would you ask your favorite YouTuber? It doesn't have to be me, anybody. If you had, where's my glasses? But what would you ask your favorite YouTuber? Gotta clean these bad boys. Okay, they're not terrible. A bit smeary, but I've had worse. So I printed out all of your questions. So I'm gonna go through them, some every week. So we're gonna start with Sue Barton. She said, love the perfect square. You're so clever to work out how to get it perfectly square. I also love the shawl you've just finished. The edging is really lovely. The question I'd like to ask is, what is the secret for getting square blankets to be perfectly square? For me, the secret of getting square blankets to be perfectly square is to reduce the stitches you put into the corners, because that makes that kind of flattened out dishy star shape kind of shape, like starfish. So I reduce the stitches I put in my corners, and then depending on the pattern is how often you have to reduce it and by how much. So that kind of is a hit or miss. Generally, the rule of thumb is a small corner every third row. So it should be normal corner, normal corner, normal corners, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into a solid granny square, and then the third row would be double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So you reduce it by 2 stitches per corner every third row. Not always a perfect formula. If you want it to be dead on perfect, you might have to reduce more often than that. But that is my trick for doing it, or how I work it out so that a square is a square, because I can't manage wonky shapes. Next question is from Marissa White. She says her question would be, how do you choose the colors for your projects? I love the Sunday Granny Stitch. It's beautiful. Thank you very much. I love it too. It's so fun to do. How I pick my colors, I find a color that I want to use. I want to use it. It's gorgeous. And then I find the kind of the opposite color of what, like I don't pick what goes beside it, I pick the opposite. So if you have a color wheel, let me go and grab my color wheel. So if I wanted to use the purple from my purple, like this darker shade of purple, I would get my color wheel, dun, 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 and find this center section, the center empty space, and I'll put that onto the purple. Whatever purple shade matches best the purple I have. So in between those purples, I'm going to go with a darker purple. I'm going to say that that is the purple there. Maybe the second from the top would represent it. Then I'd go straight down, tuck, 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 and this yellow would go perfect with it. So that's how I would start. Then if I wanted to pick, so that's if I was picking 2 colors. I just pick those 2 that go together, throw in a white. If I wanted to pick more than that, if I wanted to pick 4 colors together, I would pick this center yellow, so the purple is where I'm starting, the center yellow here, and then I might pick this green on this far side and the orange on this far side here. So I would do like a triangle on, or divide the wheel into sections, like pie slices, and pick those colors. That's how I do it. I don't do the ones that go together. I don't do that. I do the ones that are opposite. So I don't pick all side by side. Maybe that's how I do it. I don't know. But a color wheel is a great thing. This is linked in the description box down below. And totally worth having, especially if you like have one color that you really want to use and you're kind of like, you don't know what to do with it. I just take my color wheel, find the right color, and then see what other colors down here that you have that would go along with it. And then depending on how many colors you have is how many I'll pick to go along and highlight that special color that I really want to use. So I hope that answered your question, and thanks for asking. That was a good one. That was a good one. Brenda Bloom is asking, love your channel and love watching, listening to you. The question I would ask my favorite YouTuber is, how do you come up with new designs and patterns? Thanks for all you do. Love all your projects. Well, for me, if you're asking me, I come up with what I want to use, what I want to wear, what I want to have in my house. That's how I do it. Or like something I need. There's usually a need or a want, and then I'm like, oh, that'd be a great idea. And then I'll go ahead and like figure it out. Like if I want to, like whatever it is. So it's kind of seasonal. So it goes by my wants, basically. Like some people be like, oh, can you do this or that? I'm like, no, probably not, probably can't. If it's nothing I want to do, then I'm not going to do it. So that is how I design all my crochet, is out of desire to have it, to wear it, to put it on my bed, to have it, give it to the kids, something like that, something I want to have in my house. So that is my inspiration for that. Oh, Krista Beasley, love your name, Krista. Even spells it the same as me, how perfect. She is asking if I can make a blanket pattern named Grandma's Hugs and Kisses. That's a great idea. She wants to give it to her grandson and it come from Grandma and call it Hugs and Kisses Blanket. That's a great idea, and if I do come up with a pattern that has any sort of hug and kiss on it, I will definitely name it that, and that is a super sweet idea. Pamela Creation, here is your next question. She says her question would be to the podcaster, how long have you been crocheting or crafting? That's a great idea. Crafting my whole life, crocheting on and off, mostly off, until about 7 years ago, something like that. And since then, full time, all the time, full time. So that's my answer, but I've been crafting my whole life. Love crafting, love craft supplies, love organizing craft supplies, love looking at craft supplies, love having lots of crafts. I just love craft supplies. It's right up there with stationery supplies. Love it. Getting a new glue gun, by the way, so excited. So excited. Love a good glue gun. And the last question for today is from Donna McCormick. She says she guesses her question would be, how do you come up with your own designs? For me, I come up with something that I want to make, that I want to wear, I want to have in my house, and then I just give it a try. Get a hook, get a yarn. Well, I get a yarn and I get a few hooks because you might have to change what hook size you want depending on how it feels. And then I just start out, and usually I have to frog it back. Frog it means rip it. I usually have to rip out my stitches in the beginning 5 or 6 times, maybe 8, I mean a lot of times. And I don't get hung up on it. I don't be like, oh, I think of it as I am creating, like I want it to be what I want. So I don't mind. I try to get it all figured out within the first couple inches. So I'm not like frogging miles of it. I'm always assessing and being like, is this really what I want? Should I have used a bigger hook? How is this starting chain? All those kind of things. But that's how I do it for me. So whoever answered that question last week, of course there's more, but I'm going to be answering these questions over the upcoming weeks. So I uploaded that URL to a random comment picker and picked a random comment that answered the question and is a subscriber of the channel. And that lucky person will win my latest pattern, which is going to be the Daisy Granny Square. Love it. So all the winner has to do is email me and also comment under a video so I can just kind of make sure that that's the right username is the same as the email address. So last week's question was, what would you ask your favorite YouTuber? And our winner is Wanda Eaton. Congratulations, Wanda Eaton. She said, answer to your question, I'd ask, how did you get started on YouTube and what is your best advice? That's a good question too. So if you're asking me, I'm just pretending everybody is asking me. How I got started was I was teaching crochet classes, and I needed a spot or a place to help my students keep up with their steps or their stitches so they would know what to do during the week. So when they came back to class the next weekend, they would be able to make some progress. So that is how I started my channel, was just to help give my students a visual, what do you even call that? Like a visual aid, a little assistance to keep them working on their crochet throughout the week. My best advice would be, if you are starting a channel, if you have a channel, I guess, is just to be yourself. You know, if you don't want to put on eyeliner, that's fine. If you don't want to do your hair, it's fine. If you do want to do your hair, it's fine. If you do want to put on, like, whatever's you normally. If you normally are that way, go ahead and be that for YouTube. Don't be something you're not. Like, don't get your nails done, or, you know, if you want to, that's fine. But the more real you stay to yourself, I think the more authentic your channel is, and for me, that's great. Like, I love people who put on makeup and are all fancy and dolled up. I think it's great. Like, I'm like, wow, you know, I like that. It's just not me. So don't think everybody, you know, I'm not saying you have to do what I do, but however you are, or however you live your life, just bring that person to your channel. That's my best advice. That's all I got for you. So those are the questions, and Wanda is our winner. And now we're ready for question of this week. So question of this week is, if you could only pick one day for me to be with you on YouTube, for me to upload a video on one day a week, what one day would you be like, this is the best day for me to watch YouTube? Is it on the weekends? Is it like a Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday? What day of the week, if there was only one day, and you have to pick one day, I appreciate it, like every day or anything's fine. I love it, and I love you, but give me one day. I just want to see what the best day is for you. So let me know that in the comments down below, and I'll pick a winner for the next podcast. And that person will also win a pattern. Oh, so Wanda, go ahead and email me at krista@secretyarnery.com and I will send you my latest pattern. Yay, so excited. So that's pretty much all that I've been crocheting on, working on, talking about. I did finish up all of that UFO action over there on Tuesday. That was really fun. I'll link it up in the cards if you want to check out going through all my UFOs with me. There was 41 of them. In my defense, not all of them are UFOs. I guess they're unfinished for sure, but they're gonna stay unfinished. So I'm changing the name of them. I've got it down to 21. So I did something with 20, I don't know what. It didn't feel like I got rid of them, but anyway, they're not there anymore. I reduced it by half, but lots of them are tutorials in progress. So not whips, they're tips. Who can have too many tips? Like nobody. So what I am gonna do, well for right now they're all shoved together and they fit nice and tight in there, so they're all gonna stay, but at one point in time I'm kinda gonna go through and take out the UFOs, the ones that I actually do wanna finish for, you know, in the future. And the ones that I'm just gonna keep if I ever wanna make that, like if I wanna make a big heart, I have a big heart started back there. So I'm gonna keep those like in a separate spot for like, you know, pattern ideas or like what not to do if you're doing it again. But then the ones I wanna finish for tutorials, I'm gonna kind of separate them in the future. But right now, I'll take you over there and show you my yarn wall. Now that all my yarn is over there, all of my yarn is over there. So let me show you. So here is behind the sofa, my yarn wall, which I love. I love it. So I have all my white down here, so I can blatantly see if I'm running out of saver in white. And then this whole shelf along there, all the way to the end, that is all my extra saver. So that's extra saver. This is just extra random yarn. I can show you that. It's like Atlas Jumbo, Merino Bulky, just things that don't really fit anywhere, but it's gorgeous. Look at that Atlas Jumbo, it's so nice. This is the yarn I need to cake up for the next organizing party, which will be a caking party, so that's all kind of hanging out there. These are my tips and UFOs. Aren't they cute? Right? All lined up. You can see what all of them are just by looking. So that's great, and there's no hooks or scissors in any of those bags. Then there's this random yarn here from the Share the Yarn You Love giveaway. This is my scale. This is my can mohair for making a really big Granny Ruth. All of it is actually, all of it. And miscellaneous yarn. This is like my colored yarn. So this is Loopy Chenille in 3 colors. I want to do a rug, but I haven't done it. 2 shades of chenille to make slippers. Magic Light in some cool colors for my knitting machine. That is Panda something. Some cakes and more cakes fit in there. So this is kind of just variegated as best as I can in the colors, but I mean, not really. But these are all yarns that I still, like I want to use. I just don't know when. Magic Glitz, Magic Light, Magic Glitz. I love it. This is Gumball. That's a color pooling yarn. Good to have. These are really fun to work with. They're really nice. I forget the name of them. Is it cotton pastel or pastel cotton? And then for our shelves, so this is right back to that shelf, which is all extra saver down here. This shelf is Softly Baby and Super Baby, depending on the color, I guess. It just goes by color. But that is all Softly Baby and Super Baby all along this shelf. Softly and Super. It's getting really sunny, isn't it? I'm in the sun. Great, and then neutrals are on this last shelf here. Let me go the other way. There we go. So neutrals, and then it goes through the rainbow. Next shelf up, this shelf the entire way is favorite, all the way. So we start with neutrals, into the purple, into the lilacs, the periwinkles, the navies, the blues, the turquoise, the interesting greens, the teals, greens, yellows, oranges, a real orange, and then lovely soft shades. This is what I used for the Sunday Granny shawl. 2 of the colors I used there. And it goes all the way back a little bit in behind. My shelves overlap a little bit. The next shelf up, back there, this is my Saver. It used to be Saver and Saver 100, and it still has some old Saver 100, but not that much, just the old kind, not the new Saver 100. Just old Saver, well, just Saver and old Saver 100. So that is only Saver. And it goes in the same rainbow order, ending in neutrals. Over here, black. Well, that's, what is it? Anisotite. Now the next shelf up, this is my sparkle yarn and my Alera, basically. So anything fabulous like Eyelash Dazzle, and then Alera, and my Cotton Swirl Shine. That right there, it's such a pretty yarn. It's out of stock, it was like a clearancey thing. More Eyelash Dazzle. This I think is called Denim, and I love it. This is a new Alera that's mixed colors. So pretty, Rockstar. So everything shiny mixed in with Alera. It's still within reach. That's as far as my hand goes. So I can reach to the top of this shelf. This one I can reach on my tippy toes. So we're still within reach here for Alera and Sparkle. Isn't it great? That color, amazing. Alera has really, really great colors. And then there is some more Sparkle back there. Oh, there's my plant. Hi, sweet plant. Yes, I'm gonna do a tutorial. That is really fun to do. That one's a good one. Now at the top shelf, this is Loretta Worsted. So that's 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. That is just plain gorgeous. I have that in a green also. So this is pretty much, leftover from my flower shawl, my never ending flower. That is Natural Garden, so pretty. This is silk, I love it. So up top here, that's like my fancy yarn. That's yarn that I love, silk again. I love it, bamboo. This is the green that goes with that pink. More Loretta Worsted, alpaca gold. So much good stuff up there, but I don't use it often, so that's why it stays up there. Look at that gorgeous blue. I have to actually climb up with a ladder to get those ones down. Cottons, so pretty, more silks. And that looks like, what is that? Oh, it's Cotton Bamboo Light. It looked like Alera, didn't it? I'm like, what's Alera doing up there? That's cotton bamboo. Anyway, so that is how I have my yarn organized. Whew, that was a workout for the arm. So that's how I have all of this yarn organized behind my sofa. It looks nice from over here, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Love it. So I hope you enjoyed that little tour, a little insight to what's over there. And worked on a puzzle this last week. So here is Puzzle of the Week. I love it, right? And it is a bits and pieces puzzle. So this one, it has really weird shapes. Like there's not even straight lines. Like, look at that piece. So weird. So it's kind of interesting because all the pieces are different shapes. You don't get stuck on the regular puzzle piece shape, but there's also a lot of edge pieces that end up being like pieces in the middle of the puzzle, like flat-sided. So that part is a bit weird. And yeah, that has to be me right there. So it was a good one. I enjoyed working on it. So that was kind of fun. So now what's left? Shout outs. Yay! So shout outs to my friends and family members. If you want to know about joining the channel, there is a link to it underneath this video. So I'm first going to give shout outs to my family members in alphabetical order. You're welcome. So big hello and thank you to Caroline, Carrie, Kathy, Cindra, Claire, Donna, Gina, Jacqueline, Carrie Ryan, Carrie the Yarny Elephant, Kim, Chris, Crystal, Leslie, Mama Hodge Crochet and Crafts, Marie, Narelle, Natasha, Sammy, and Tracy. Thank you for being family members. We have a WhatsApp group together and there are some new members here. So if you want to be a part of the WhatsApp group, go ahead and send me an email, krista@secretyarnery.com. Also, there is 15-minute video calls coming up with family members, personal, private, just you and me. For family members, that is coming up on Monday. So if you haven't signed up for that, there is a link to that on the community tab, visible only to family members. So that would be really great to get together with you, and there's still time to book it. And now, friends, love you so much. In alphabetical order, hello and thank you to Anita, Araceli, Ashley, Black Cat, Carol Dees, Casey's Creations, Chris, Coco, Dawn, Gigi, Glenda, Hallett 10, Jennifer, Jody Crybaby, I love that one, Judith, Karen, D, Knit Pearl and Squirrel with Granny D Thompson, love you honey, Linda Simpson, love you too, Lynn, love you, didn't pick it up today, I didn't. Dog, vet, I was like, I need something to look forward to. So I left it at the post office on purpose to have something to look forward to. So I'm gonna pick it up on Monday. Vet wasn't such bad news. I think we're gonna, well, let's see. Anyway, that's the news from Lynn, love you. Nancy, Nicole, Ola Joe, hello Andrea, Pamela, Pat Dancer, love you, Rose Brooks, Sean, and the Cozy Fox Boutique. So thank you so much for being friends. Friends get a live chat first Monday of every month. So fun, because it's more, because I can answer your questions and we can kind of hang out in a smaller group. It's really, really fun. So also links for that down below if you're interested. And thank you so much for inviting me over and hanging out. So don't forget to answer question of the day in the comments down below. And if you have any other questions for me, go ahead and leave those in the comments under this video as well. And thank you so much. I hope you have a super great day. I'll be seeing you tomorrow for this sweet little tutorial. And stay hooked. And the lucky winner is, drum roll please, Kathy Welch. Congratulations, Kathy. So happy for you. She says, I don't do granny square blankets because they never look square. I love your blanket, the wrap is beautiful. Well, she didn't answer the question, did she? Kathy, you didn't answer the question. Oh no, I was so happy when it was Kathy. So last week's question was, what would you ask your favorite YouTuber or what would you ask a YouTuber? It's a bad question. I feel like I'm missing something, but I guess I'm not. Probably I am, right? Let me check what I wrote down. Flower shawl, granny squares, friends, family, phone calls on Monday, I said that. Yeah, I think we're good. Can you tell that I'm sweating? I really feel like you can. Good gosh, it's so hot. It's been really weird weather. It's supposed to be raining, not raining. Kind of raining, but not raining like it should. Like we should be like really raining. It's kind of like piddling at night sometimes a little bit, literally. Really strange, but now it's been really hot. Like 28 degrees, 29 degrees. I don't know, maybe we're getting a second summer? I don't know. Granny squares are the way to go. Granny squares are really helping because there's nothing on your body. Do you know what I mean? So it's like in your hands, you're like, okay, that's fine. It's pretty good. Anyway, kids are outside, so I'm gonna go check up on them, and I hope you have a super great week, and thanks so much. See you in the next video.